It's time for our 8th episode of Friday Food Finds from Fans. And today, the only person... Oh, look at that face. That's terrible. I forgot to wash her face before we started. Oh well. You know,
it's a cooking show.
Yeah, it's a cooking show and we're among friends. The only one who hasn't drawn yet is Grace. So for the recipe roulette today we have the barn.
Because it's so zoo in our house.
Okay. Go ahead, Grace.
Draw a winner.
Get one out. Let's see what she gets.
Well,
There
she
she
got
is.
a couple, so we'll just take one.
Oh,
There goes our recipe.
it's on the floor. Let her open.
Good job,
That's
Grace.
a good one.
Okay, Grace, what did
What
we
did you
get?
pick?
We got
Woo!
garlic Parmesan chicken lasagna bake.
That's
Yum!
Let's get cooking.
Today's recipe that we will be cooking is garlic Parmesan chicken lasagna bake from Lisa.
Tablespoon of butter, maybe 2, and a cup of chopped diced onions, and these are my frozen ones. And we're just going to cook these until they're translucent and soft. It'll probably be about 6 to 8 minutes. Yeah, and you got to pull them towards you, so they're in the middle of the pan, okay? Okay. Yeah. And remember, it's very hot, the fire. There you go, and then you can push them away from you. There you go, gentle, gentle. Just move them around the pan so they all evenly cook. It is hot. That's why we're always very careful by the fire, right? Should we be silly in the kitchen?
No.
No, this is all serious business because you can really get hurt. In this pan, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of butter. This is going to melt. And to this, I'm going to be adding a tablespoon and a half of minced garlic. I could be using fresh garlic, but I'm a little pinched for time. So I'm cheating and I'm using the stuff you can buy at the store. Tablespoon and a half. About that much, but we got to be really careful we don't let this burn because garlic does burn. So we're just going to cook this until the garlic starts to smell like garlic. Do you know what garlic smells like?
Garlic smell like.
What does garlic smell like? Does it smell like garlic? It does. So when we start smelling it like garlic, that means it's done and we don't want it to burn or else it'll be bitter. Here, would you like to stir? And once this garlic starts to smell, and it's not going to take that long for that to happen, we're going to add 6 tablespoons of flour into this. Smelling good, smelling fragrant like garlic. So I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of flour here. 1, 2. Also going to add a half a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. About half a teaspoon.
Yeah.
And a quarter teaspoon or 3/4 teaspoon of salt. About that much. I'm going to whisk this all in now. This is hot, and we're going to make a roux. Remember Mommy's told you about making roux before? Like when we're making a gravy? Well, this is we're making a sauce. Stir, stir, stir.
Mommy, trust in me.
This is smelling really delicious. Do you smell it? Mmm. And it's cooked maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Now I'm going to start adding the milk, but I'm only going to do about a cup at a time. We're going to end up doing 5 cups of milk. But I'm just going to add a little bit. About that much. Yep, we got to stir, stir, stir because we don't want lumps. What I'm waiting for this to do is just thicken ever so slightly before I add a little bit more milk, which it's starting to do right there. We're going to add about another cup of milk. And we're going to do the same thing. Stir it. Go ahead. Let it cook a little bit until it starts to thicken. And then keep adding the milk in that rotation until we've added a total of 5 cups of milk. The first impression of this recipe is it's pretty labor intensive. There's a lot of different steps to it. And that makes it a little bit more challenging with kids because, as you can see, Mary's gone right now. And Mary was into it, but it just took a little bit too long for her, so her attention span wasn't long enough for this recipe. I'm still sitting here waiting, what, 10? Has it been 10 minutes? 15
It's been a
minutes?
lot longer than 10.
10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes just making the sauce, and I still have to assemble everything and make sure kids aren't getting in trouble while I'm doing this. I think this is done. It looks pretty thick. I think that's... So we're going to turn it off and then get ready for the rest of the recipe. I made the sauce ahead of time with Lydia and Mary's help, and now we're going to finish assembling the dish all together. So Charity, I need you to cut up the chicken there
And Daddy, can you spray the pan with some cooking spray, please? And then Lydia, I'm gonna have you start ripping the Swiss cheese into small pieces. All right.
You want it cut?
It just says the chicken needs to be shredded or cubed. All right. So small pieces. Think little pieces. You're just gonna rip that into small pieces. Mary, you're gonna break the noodles and put them in the bottom, and it should be about, I think she said about 5 broken lasagna noodles.
Should I help?
Here, go ahead.
John can help.
Yep.
Yeah, John does it fast speed.
Mom, can you help me do this?
How about I have Peter help you? Peter, you can help shred the cheese here, okay? And just bite small pieces. How's the chicken coming?
Almost done.
Good job. All right, so, not yet. Now everybody listen. Okay, Mommy's gonna read the recipe. Everybody have their listening ears on?
Yep.
Grease a 9x13 pan and preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Okay, Mommy already preheated the oven. Cover the bottom of the pan with about 5 broken lasagna noodles. Mary and John did that. Now we're gonna put half of the chicken, half of the peas, and half of the onions on this layer. So go ahead, half of the chicken, Charity. Make sure you spread it evenly.
The onions.
All right. There we go. About half the cheese. You want to do half the onions? Hang on, it's got hard in there again. Okay, here we go.
Onions.
Is that good? That's about half. All right, John, can you do half of the peas? Spread them equally.
Should I just take my hand?
Yeah. Make sure they're even though, because they're going to be hard to move around.
Can I put some of the onions on?
All right. Did you do the onions yet?
No.
Okay, so we need to do. Let's let Peter and Lydia do the onions this time. Half of the onions, try to sprinkle them about. And honestly, I think the half a cup of onions seems a little on the small side.
That's half. Mom, isn't that half?
That's about half. Okay.
No more.
You know what, guys? Because we have so few onions, we're just gonna put all the onions in on this layer, so they're evenly spread about. All right.
Can I put them on too?
That's a mommy made that decision. We're diverting from the recipe for better chef's judgment. Maybe it's supposed to be a cup of cook after they're cooked, and not a cup before they're cooked. That looks good.
Yep. All done.
Now we need to put half of the shredded cheese, or the sprinkle. Not all of it, just sprinkle.
That's probably enough. That's probably enough, guys.
Okay, we gotta make sure we're even. We don't want big globs of Swiss cheese. All right, hang on a second. Hang on. We need a third cup of water. Daddy, can you get a third cup of water, please?
Okay.
And then I need to add 1.5 cups of sauce. And just
Third
take,
cup of water,
yep,
just dump
and
it in
just
there.
evenly sprinkle it over. Just remember, this is going to help cook those noodles. Okay, and we need 1.5 cups of sauce.
That looks good already.
Yeah, it looks good already.
Does it smell good?
It smells good.
All right, now it says repeat the layers one more time, except we obviously used the onions already. So we're gonna start with, you guys can start chopping up some lasagna noodles.
Can I help?
Remember, not all of them, only about a third more, because we're gonna have to finish up with the layers of lasagna noodles.
I see wild.
Nature.
We're gonna finish off the top layer with another third of a cup of water. And this is just gonna help all those noodles cook, guys, because we didn't cook them beforehand. Then we're gonna add the rest of the sauce. Lots of sauce.
This will make it all juicy.
It'll make it all good and
Yeah.
tasty.
Yeah, and not see the beans.
It's peas,
It's
Lydia.
peas, honey.
Actually, it will not make it. It will not make you see the onions.
Oh, are you scared of onions?
Yep.
Oh, will they come out and bite you? Onions are good.
I say tiny.
You like onions, Mary?
Mhm.
Super yummy.
Mommy.
Are you gonna put some sauce over there?
Yeah,
Spread
we're
it
gonna
around.
spread it around. John, could you please put that in the sink? I did not read the recipe carefully enough, even though I've read this several times. The Swiss cheese was actually not supposed to go in the layers of the lasagna, but just on the top. However, I didn't read that carefully enough. So we have Swiss cheese throughout the lasagna dish.
I think
and the
that
kids are just
sounds
topping
better.
it off with a little bit more. So we definitely used more than a half a cup of Swiss cheese, but that was all right. I had the extra cheese. Kids are gonna finish this off. I'm gonna cover it with foil, and we're gonna bake it for, we're gonna bake it for 40 minutes in covered, and then if we wanna make it look pretty, we're gonna top it with those breadcrumbs and fresh herbs.
Last of all, we're going to put some foil on and put it in the oven for 40 minutes. And yes, this is reused foil. We do reuse foil if we can.
The trick with these no-boil lasagna noodles is you really need to make sure that you can form a really tight seal. You know, not like saran wrap tight, but pretty well covered, because that moisture is going to be what's going to cook these noodles.
Oh, look at this. You see it all.
40 minutes, and it smells really good. Ooh, look at that, Charity.
It looks good.
That looks really good. All right, so I made my own seasoned buttered breadcrumbs, and I'm just going to sprinkle those on the top, and then we'll put this back in the oven. What do you think, John?
Looks good.
John just walked in from outside.
Is that cheese on the top?
It's just the sauce and the cheese. Yeah, we'll pop this back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Just crisp up the breadcrumbs, brown them a little bit, and then it's going to be ready to eat.
Did you try it yet, Lydia? Are you scared?
Come on, Lydia. You can't even taste the onions. It makes it taste yummy.
How was the food? Was it good? How was it?
It was good.
John,
Did you want onions to put in?
how was it?
So did you like it? Should I make it again? Is it on the list of make again?
Once a week.
No.
What's Mommy?
Yes.
How was it?
It was good. I thought it was nice for a change. It's a great different way to use lasagna noodles because, well, let's face it, that box of lasagna noodles was in the pantry for quite a while. So this was a great way to use up those lasagna noodles. And too bad that wasn't even the pantry basket challenge.
I should have thrown it in there first.
Oh. So I think, you know, I would probably make it again, but it was very labor intensive, as you guys saw, and that made it a little bit not quite so large family friendly.
How did you like it, Daddy?
I liked it. The only problem was it was very labor intensive. Nice thing about it is we have a lot of leftovers, so it will probably last us for 2.5, 3 meals. What did you think, Peter?
It was good.
How good?
95 stars.
So the recipe was very enjoyable. Definitely keeper for a recipe, just labor intensive, but you know what, after the kids grow up, it might be like the perfect Sunday dinner meal because you can put it in ahead of time. If you're looking for a printable version of this recipe, you can follow the link in the description below. You can find that recipe on my blog. Thanks, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Friday Food Finds from Fans. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, share this recipe with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for our next video. Bye!